Hi, my name's Ryan Talkspace. I'm the author of the fantasy trilogy, The Empire's Foundation, and I'm going to be reading a selection from my new novella, Demon Invasion, because I've had a few people asking me, how do you say some of the crazy names in it? I decided to go with the sort of traditional, if you know a demon's name, you can control it type of thought, without actually allowing that to happen. But I like the idea of the demons having crazy names that mortals would never guess, and thus it would be very difficult to summon a demon, especially one of the larger elder ones that are actually dangerous. And the reason that I wrote Demon Invasion is because I really liked the antagonist from Book 2, Wizard's Gambit. His name is Glezzik Snowden, and he's not your typical Tolkien-esque type of villain. He's not evil just because. And so I wanted to write his backstory to show the readers what his ambitions are and what his goals are. Because when I'm focusing on Thomas, Cerintha, and Eliza in my main series, you're not really seeing Glezzik Snowden's goals so much. So I wanted to bring that to light just in case anybody was interested. I know I was, so I figured somebody out there probably is as well. So I'm going to start out just reading from the first scene where you'll get an introduction to some of the demon names. Also, there is a glossary at the back that has the demon names and pronunciations, and also a short description of each demon, just if you want it all in one place, because I didn't want to overwhelm readers with the details of each demon all in one chunk, so I kind of spread it out throughout. But if you want to see all of the details of any particular demon that you're curious about, it's all in the back. Act 1, 270 years before God's War. Molten lava licked at Zethriark's hooves as she skirted the edge of the glowing field. Waves of heat washed over her in a comforting way, and the sulfur warmed her lungs. Bending low, she dangled her 3 violet head tentacles over the fiery liquid, careful not to lose her balance. Was it a curse that the burning substance could both soothe her and kill her?
"Don't dawdle, X," came a gravelly voice. "You know how my sire hates to be kept waiting."
She looked up at one of her spawn. Glezzik Snowden's red face leered down at her. Like her, he had plain humanoid features, 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth. Other demons overlooked her simple appearance, but they were less forgiving of the lowly male, ridiculing him, calling him simple, even though he was a full demon. She felt pity for him, but he never hung his head in shame. "You let me worry about Zerath," Zethriark replied, waving her hands over the lava, relishing the heat. "I haven't seen him in these parts in an age. What does your sire want with us anyway?" Glezzik Snowden shrugged his shoulders. His leathery wings twitched.
"I'm as much in the dark as you, broodmother. He and I don't stay in touch."
"I can't imagine why not," she replied, her voice thick with sarcasm. From the moment Zerath had spawned Glezzik Snowden, the youngling was a disappointment to his father. A rare wizard demon had been spawned in the same clutch of demonlings, and Zerath had been certain the spindly-armed creature would come out victorious. She should have been able to slay the rest in the group of babies with ease. However, while all attention was on the wizard demonling, the older demons were dumbfounded when she appeared to lose her mind, sitting like a lump on the blackened ground. Incapacitated, the young wizard demon was easy prey for Glezzik Snowden. Yet for Zerath, it was Glezzik Snowden who should have died, and Zerath never missed an opportunity to show his displeasure with his spawn. Walking together to the meeting place, Zethriark looked up to see Zerath's huge form standing atop a spire at the edge of the lava field, the orange glow playing off his dark, scaled chest. Zerath, one of the few elder demons, was a mighty specimen. Rounding a series of tall, blackened crags, Zethriark was surprised to find a host of almost 24 demons gathered at the foot of a spire, awaiting Zerath's words. The group was diverse, made up of all manner of demonic creatures. Zerath turned his reptilian head and stared at Zethriark and Glezzik Snowden, nodding at the latecomers. From his perch on the great blackened spire, Zerath called down, "Are you not weary of this world that holds us back?" A silent Zethriark listened to the others muttering. It was no secret that they all hated the world they lived on. Even so, such a question amounted to treason, and Zethriark dared not voice her discontent. "If given the chance, would you leave this place to return home?" Zerath continued. Now Zethriark's tentacles twitched nervously. Either Zerath's words were foolish in the extreme, or he was setting a trap to have them killed. This was the only world she knew, but she understood what Zerath meant as home. Illuma was said to be a planet with vast, diverse landscapes capable of supporting all manner of life. In comparison, their world contained only a thin strip of livable land, with half the world engulfed in flame and the other half consisting of frozen peaks and valleys. And it was a stretch to call the narrow band around the planet habitable, for only demons could survive on its surface. Ticklervan, one of their mightiest warriors, spoke for the group. "You know as well as we do that leaving here is impossible. Only Ffckookckck has the power to travel between worlds." The sound of their master's name, the sound of fire igniting, gave Zethriark a chill despite the heat. The others agreed with Ticklervan, but did not leave the gathering. Invoking the name of the Great One, a demon composed of living flame, sent waves of apprehension through the assembly. Zethriark knew that if Ffckookckck was to learn of this meeting, they would all burn. With his scaled arms pointing to the orange clouds above, Zerath spoke. "A new age is upon us. For centuries we have been prisoners, unable to build or flourish. We merely exist, which is no way for demons to thrive. We need to learn, to be tested, to fight. If you are brave enough, I will offer you a new world." And Zerath vanished. Confusion rippled through the ranks, and the demons turned to one another, looking for an explanation. A quick scan of the crowd told Zethriark that no one had expected Zerath to disappear. All demons could teleport to nearby places at will, but what had he meant by offering a new world? Zethriark wondered whether Ffckookckck had disintegrated the heretic. No one could ever know where Ffckookckck was located, as its fiery form was perfectly concealed in the lava sea. Perhaps it had overheard the defiant speech and ended the rebellion before it began. The crowd began to separate, hoping to avoid incineration. But before they could scatter too far, Zerath reappeared. Zethriark gasped to see that he carried handfuls of something fresh, purple, and vital, and his skin was seared with white-hot lines in the shape of archaic magical runes. Those glowing markings faded, crumbled, and flaked off his body. The wildflowers, for that is what he carried, wilted immediately and burst into flame in the hot, toxic atmosphere. But the mere sight of them was enough to convince Zethriark and the others. Nothing like flowers grew on their world. "How is this possible?" Zethriark asked, her tentacles vibrating with excitement. Tossing the ashes away, Zerath said, "I have toiled for centuries to bring this revelation to you. Although it will be tedious work to gather the resources required to enhance our natural teleporting abilities, it is possible. Some of you," he pointed to a cluster of large eyeballs atop a spindly green stalk-like body, "are much smaller than I, and will require smaller runes. If we work together, we might all leave within a century." Silence greeted the news. Zethriark shifted from side to side, gauging the others' reactions. The idea of 100 years of toil with the possibility of being discovered by Ffckookckck was unpleasant in the extreme. "The alternative," Zerath added, "is eternity in this hell." Powdery black wings covered the group in fine coal dust as von Hilksid, a moth-like demon, fluttered erratically into the air. "Must the entire body be covered? My wings are very sensitive to the touch, and I fear your runic magic might damage me." "I do not know," Zerath admitted. "I mark every bit of my body with runes, and I mark the items I plan to take with me. The first time I teleported to Illuma, my axe remained behind as I had not thought to mark it. You, von Ffckookckck, might have to stay behind. A voice spoke in Zethriark's mind, and she knew it echoed through the others' senses as well. Rochik's doll asked, "And what of those of us without solid form?" "You are the only one," Zerath said, nodding to the reddish puddle of ooze on the ground. "Each of you have unique qualities that make you question whether this will work at all. Together, however, we shall experiment to find ways for all of us to leave this God's-forsaken place."
"That raises an interesting question," Ffckookckck said, stepping forward. "What of the rest? We are few here, but there are hundreds more who would join us in this exodus if given the chance."
Zerath glared disdainfully at him. Even so, the elder demon valued his spawn's mental acuity. It was for that reason, and that alone, that Zerath would invite his weak offspring to join them. He may not like Ffckookckck, but he knew his spawn would consider every angle of the plan and point out any potential pitfalls. Zerath said, "I cannot trust all the demons to keep this scheme from..." Raising his hands, he tried to quell the uproar before they drew attention to their clandestine meeting. "No, it does not know. It cannot know. Think carefully. It has devoured our kind simply because we questioned this nightmare realm. What would it do to us if we revealed a plan to leave?" Ffckookck's disembodied voice said, "It might approve of such a mission if we brought it glory. If we fought in its name, we could reclaim Illuma for it."
"You are naive,"
Zerath chided the invisible demon. "I understand your fear of working on such a project without knowledge. There is great risk involved, but if we can escape, we need not conquer Illuma in its name, but for ourselves. Only a handful of you have ever lived on Illuma," he said, pointing to the largest and most terrifying demons among them. "The rest of you must trust that I speak the truth. Illuma is a paradise compared with this awful world."
"He right,"
Ffckookckck said, slowly turning his enormous scale-covered bulk to address the others.
"Illuma nice, not hot, and lots of little ones to eat."
Zethriark disliked the notion of ingesting flesh, but most that had mouths did enjoy the visceral experience of tearing prey apart, although they did not require such sustenance to survive. The mere idea of feasting on lesser beings was working some demons into a frenzy, one in particular whose rough spherical shape opened into 6 mouths, each with 3 rows of razor-sharp teeth.
"And cool water!"
Ffckookckck roared, his mandibles clacking with excitement. Under the normal rules of evolution, Ffckookck's crab-like body might have suggested that he was a water creature, even though mandibles were better suited to land creatures. But demons were often odd mixtures of various bits and pieces that did not adhere to evolution. When no one reacted to the idea of water, it was apparent that the idea was too obscure to excite Zethriark and the younger demons who had never experienced the liquid. "Suffice it to say," Zerath lowered his voice, trying to maintain their excitement without attracting attention, "that Illuma is far more comfortable and appealing to our varied tastes. Instead of surviving on this sliver of rock, we would have an entire world to explore, much the way can enjoy the fiery depths of half of this world." That final comparison set the mood. Living in freedom was a foreign concept that Zethriark could appreciate. She envisioned herself traveling great distances, answering to no one. Illuma would be her playground, its citizens, her toys. "Come with me. I will show you the way," Zerath said, smiling down on his new army. So that's the first scene of Demon Invasion. It's available now in ebook format on Amazon and also paperback on CreateSpace. Thanks for watching.